Welcome, Ingrid.
Thank
Please,
you.
have a seat. I was rather hoping you might bring us some product samples, but sadly you're carrying the water we gave you. But it does remind me, one of the age-old sort of jokes in sustainability is British Petroleum trying to rebrand itself as Beyond Petroleum, right? We know the story. The company is very much going the opposite direction. I would put to you, just as BP, despite attempts, did not go beyond petroleum, ab-inBev will never go beyond water. And if that's even more vital to your product than it is petroleum to the energy company, tell us, what are you doing about water resilience, about dealing with the impact on the communities you work with? I understand one of the places where we do this event, we did in Cape Town in October. Several people in the audience came up to me who were there with us for Sustainability Week Africa. You have some projects there, just to kick us off. Tell us a little bit about that, and then give us the bigger picture of how you think about water resilience.
Okay. So water is essential and existential to our business, right? It's our number one ingredient. We even refer to it within our business as no water, no beer. And I know that's a daunting picture for many of us, a lot of our consumers as well. That is why we focus a lot of our initiatives on water resilience. The example you refer to in Cape Town in South Africa is one of our flagship programs, quite frankly. You may all remember the imminent Day Zero in Cape Town, where the community members of Cape Town would not have access to potable water anymore. And we have a brewery there. So, of course, there's tension there. We decided at that moment in time to stop producing in Cape Town and provide access.
These poor people, they had no water and they also had no beer?
Well, we made sure that they could use our water to get through that time. But more importantly, working on the long term, fixing the solution for the long term. We work in the Greater Cape Town Water Fund together with our partners of the Nature Conservancy as well as the WWF. We work with members from the local community to strengthen the local watershed. So what do we do there in particular? We hire and we train local members, female members, to climb on the cliffs of the rocks and remove invasive species. Because invasive species...
Haven't women suffered enough? Why are you putting them to this terrible, dangerous job?
These are brave women crawling on ropes on those cliffs with heavy material, heavy equipment to remove pine tree, basically, that consumes 25% more water than homegrown species. So that was the reason why they were doing it. And really fast after starting on that project, together with other corporates, by the way, because this is an important matter, this is collective action, we were able to make sure that there was more water into that basin available again. So that's what we do in Cape Town.
So you think about the ecosystem in which you operate. Yeah, for those of us that are unfamiliar, give us an idea. For a liter of beer, how much is the water input, including all the manufacturing process and so on?
Last year, we were able to reduce and achieve an input of below 2.5 hectoliter per hectoliter.
And 10 years ago, what might that number have been?
That was easily 25% more than what it is today.
Okay, so you're reducing the water input, which is a long-term goal.
We do, but I would say what I'm even more pleased with is that we focus our investment in water efficiency, so within the walls of our operations, more in where it matters more, where water stress or water risk is even more severe. And there I would say we've delivered more than 30% of efficiency gains.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about working on the watershed, the ecosystem. We talked a little bit about your operational efficiencies, including in the manufacturing lines, as it were. So I know rinsing of bottles, and water is used in the making of the beer, not just going into the final product. And what about sort of innovative financing? I understand there are some concepts from philanthropy, blended financing. Is there some role for that?
Yeah, I would say there's three elements in each of the water stewardship programs that are important for longer term success. First of all, it needs to be done with the community and act local with local solutions that matter for that particular watershed. Secondly, blended financing. Make sure that you reduce the risk of the entire project, of the entire investment, and you can have a larger impact. You bring in the local community and even the local government and national governments to make sure that all of them are involved. And third, I would say, is really making this a collective action effort. So bringing in other corporates that are in the same watershed, even in the same area, that can co-invest and again stretch those dollars further.
So having opened the Mexico City Bureau of The Economist as one of my first jobs, I have a particular fondness for cervezas. I understand in Aguas Firmes you have a case study. Can you just tell us very briefly what you were able to accomplish there?
I hope you got a chance to taste some of that Modelo Especial.
Maybe too much. The quality of my copy was not as good back then, but nevertheless, the folly of youth.
I'm actually headed next week to Mexico City, and I'm going to visit another part of our Aguas Firmes program there. It's a program that covers multiple cities by now. It started as a simple project in Apan, in Hidalgo, and it now is expanded to Zacatecas and Mexico City. I call it a flagship platform almost, because we touch those three areas that I said before. We partner with Coca-Cola, but also with the German Development Agency, GIZ, to really broaden the reach of the program. So what do? We deploy nature-based solutions. In this case, in essence, it's building dams with local species so that we retain the water more into the ground and that it can infiltrate better into the ground. Now, nature-based solutions are very effective and efficient in terms of what they bring in for dollars. But what makes it really special, this program, is that it works at the intersection of water and agriculture. And what we've learned is when you combine those two, the effect, the return for a dollar invested is exponential versus if you work on just either one of them. So we also work with our own barley farmers in those regions to adopt practices that reduce water consumption, but also practices that help them improve the yield of their crops. So the combination of agriculture and water really is something super powerful in terms of water.
We talked about this in an earlier session, that the agriculture and water nexus, of course, is very powerful. We're entering into, in part due to climate change, areas of water scarcity, or eras even of water scarcity. So I'd be curious to learn a little bit more. Let me just ask my audience first, though, give you a chance. If any hands up, any questions for our speaker, please let me know, or put your questions into Slido. Oh, let's see, there's a hand up already. Very good. We'll go to you then.
Thomas Richardson, Gaia. We operate in Ireland with nature-based solutions. I'm just wondering, have you considered, do you work in Ireland, number one? And have you considered the impact of riparian buffers as for nitrate runoff, but also water purity on farms?
So one, we don't work in Ireland. We don't have a brewery or an operation there. And second, we deploy nature-based solutions that are on a very wide range, depending on what the specific ecosystem requires. So while I spoke about removing invasive species in one watershed, we could be planting homegrown species in others. It could be dams, again, in another. It could be wells somewhere else. It's very specific to what that ecosystem exactly needs.
Another question? We have one here in the front, and anyone else in the back? Especially if you haven't asked a question today, this is your chance. Let's get some hands up. Great, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Isabel Devana from the Carbon Trust. Water is also really important for the manufacturing of glass bottles. Is this something that ab-inBev is looking at in terms of decarbonizing your glass production for packaging?
Yeah, natural gas is the most important ingredient for the production of glass bottles, as is soda ash. plus, of course, the use of cullets, meaning broken glass, used glass, back into the furnace of glass. So what we focus on glass bottle manufacturing mainly is really increasing the recycled content in each and single one of our bottles. So whether they're flint, brown, or green bottles, recycling content, increasing that recycled content is the biggest lever for decarbonization of packaging. Actually, 1% increase on recycled content in our packaging leads to 1% decrease in our packaging emissions. It's a 1-for-1.
I see a hand over there. Let's get a microphone to you. Over time, as the electrification technologies advance, I predict that we will see increasing replacement of natural gas, even in industrial heat. At the moment, it's not cost effective and it's challenging, but there are leading edge cases. But over time, we may see progress there too.
Hi, David Manuel from Beagle Partners. I was interested in what you were saying about picking solutions for particular areas you're working in. Do you work with other stakeholders to expand your area of impact to larger watersheds so you have regional redevelopment? And are there particular areas where you're finding that collective action?
Yes. How Napoleonic are your ambitions?
Wow. I'm like, my team must have given you this question to answer almost.
We just have a smart audience.
This is fantastic. Yes, actually, we are working. I always talk about the 3 Ps on water stewardship work. And people in sustainability think this is public-private partnership, but I have 3 different Ps. It's to move from a project to a program, to a platform. That needs to be the ambition, a platform approach. What's the difference? A project is one corporate implements nature-based solutions in one area by themselves. A program is, okay, you get a partner to join it. This is done in the long term. You work with some local community members that are starting to join. Then you can talk about a program. A platform is what we're looking to deploy in Brazil specifically. In Brazil, we have many operations.
Is this your Sao Paulo
That's right, yes.
Tell us just briefly what that is.
Yes, so in Jaguariúna, which is a city about 2 hours away from São Paulo, we work in the watershed specifically there. And in that PCG, and don't ask me the names of what PCG stands for because I can't pronounce them, but in that water basin, that is actually the main source of water for the São Paulo region. So we work there because we have operations there, and we work with farmers not our farmers because they don't grow barley there, but we work with farmers who live there to adopt practices that allow the quality of the water in the PCJ basin to be improved, but also to restore more water and keep more water in that water basin. We do that together with our partners from the Nature Conservancy, and we have established a nursery there for indigenous species and to grow them and restore the watershed there. But we're running into the limitations of what we can do as an organization together with our partners from TNC. So that's exactly what we want to do there. So the platform we're looking to develop right there is to restore the Atlantic forest. The Atlantic forest's biodiversity is as big as the Amazon biodiversity. But there's almost nothing left because of industrialization. A lot of the Atlantic forest has gone. So it's scattered right now. So if we would imagine connecting individual projects, programs, make a platform of all kinds of organizations who are active there and coordinate action towards one single platform approach. Again, those dollars are going to stretch much further. So that's what we're interested in. That's why I'm next week, in 2 weeks from now, Yes, 2 weeks from now, I'm headed to Brazil specifically to do a big cheers to nature there and attract partners to build that program.
Well, that's great. We're just out of time, but I want to say there's a 4th P that I'm glad you didn't include, and that is pilot. The number of times I've seen pilot projects that do not scale, that get forgotten. We have a death by pilot problem in some sustainability areas. The idea that you're really moving through your Ps to get to that scale to make an impact. It's certainly something we hope you succeed in. The efforts in Brazil, particularly, seem very promising. So let's wish her good luck, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Good.